And we're back with a question and answer session with Zark and Apollonaut. If you missed our episode on talking about the IAE, kind of the retrospective and evaluation of IAE is what I called it. Make sure you check that out before you watch this. Zark will be right above Zark's head right there. Zark will point up. Thank you. Check that out. If you're listening to this on the podcast format, we'll just transition directly into this, so it'll be fine for that. And of course, check us out on youtube.com/ at the Captain's Table Podcast if you want to see these in the future, because starting in January, I'm going to start uploading all of these episodes to that platform. It'll always be live here on the youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive and twitch.tv/TheAstroPub. But if you wanted to watch the recorded ones after the fact, it'll always be there. So it'll be able to be the truncated, hour and a half that we usually do. So let's get started with the first question, which is... Pulling up my questions bot. By the way, to ask a question, just bracket question and then ask your question, and the bot will pick it up in YouTube or Twitch. So the first question comes from Mark Harding, who asks, was anyone else hoping for a capital-sized gunship from Anvil, or was it just me? I know Zark says yes.
Every single year.
Yep.
It's every year, yeah. Where's my Anvil capital ship? I'll be honest. I got hopeful with the Paladin. That we see the Anvil Corvette, maybe even at the IAE as a concept, simply because. So they are now doing RSI. They finish up RSI. On this side, they finish up Drake, because Drake only has 2 ships left: the Ironclad and the Kraken. And they are working on Misk. Misk doesn't have a lot of ships left over either. It's the rest of the Hull series, and that's it, because the Endeavor is post 1.0. So then we have Anvil with quite a lot of ships in the backload. We have the Legionnaire, which is sort of done waiting for hacking, and it might be that they pushed back Anvil as a whole because of hacking gameplay. We have Crucible.
The Super Hornet Mark II.
Yeah, if it comes, but it's not announced. So just going by
It's
the...
It kind of was.
It's announced.
Yeah. Oh,
during the IAE
okay,
show.
then.
Yeah.
But the Super Hornet Mark II, they just throw it in whenever they have time.
Yeah.
It's not a big ship. That's my...
It's definitely one of those, do we have time between stuff to work on it kind of thing.
So yeah, we've got the Legionnaire, we've got the Liberator, we've got now the Paladin, and then we've got the Crucible. Crucible, again, is a ship. It needs a massive rework. They learned a lesson from the Reclaimer. They wait until they're sure what exactly is repair. So the Crucible will probably grow a bit larger. It will have repair and crafting functionality, but they want to be sure how it looks.
I can almost guarantee that's a post 1.0 ship too, because we've heard nothing about the Crucible. So
it depends. It depends. It might be with the whole crafting that they say, okay, if we have crafting and we're doing Anvil and we have large Anvil ships, we might throw the Crucible in there. So there's an Anvil family, and it would make sense because with the Carrack, we already have a large ship, so there are already assets to pull from. So it would make sense to bring. So when you do all those ships, then you also do the Corvette. That would make sense from a production standpoint.
We have the Liberator as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liberator, Legionnaire, Paladin, Crucible, and whatever the Corvette is. I think they all go in one fell swoop.
Yeah. Oh, right. We also forgot the thing I was going to say we're going to talk about, the CCU. Let's finish. I'll finish the question, and then we'll answer the CCU, because someone also asked a question about what is an upgrade. So, Apollo, your thoughts on were you hoping for an Anvil capital ship?
And I was kind of indifferent. I mean, honestly, I do kind of like Anvil's design language. It's military, but it's not Aegis. Yeah. I mean, I would have been interested, maybe. I know a lot of people in my org would have been. I don't know about capital size. I don't think right now is the best time to introduce a new capital ship.
Yeah.
Really. They want to make money, but getting the giant capital ships unless they're base building like the Pioneer. I think base building is the biggest hype builder that they have.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna, anything that has anything to do with making your mark on the verse is gonna sell more.
Yeah.
I know the Pioneer like sold out in seconds, at least for the store credit version.
2 minutes for the credit.
Yeah.
For credit, yeah.
Yeah. And but that's why I said with the Anvil family, because there are so many Anvil ships that have to be made, and you got a lot of assets you could pull from those.
Yeah.
Same with the Polaris and the RSI family. It would make sense to bring in the Anvil capital ship when you tackle Anvil. And I don't think Anvil is far behind. It's probably coming after RSI, Misk, and Drake.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
It's the ship family with the largest backlog of big ships.
Yeah, I think the other thing is, and I think it's been confirmed that the Crucible's post 1.0 already. There's going to be a lot of ships that we're going to hear trickle out.
The Genesis Starliner is post 1.0.
Genesis as well, post 1.0. I think we're going to start hearing a lot of those ships.
The thing is, I don't know why the Crucible should be post 1.0. That's the thing. There's no reason that would say, okay, bring it post 1.0.
Time.
And
because I think I'm going to say something that's very spicy. I'm going to say a very spicy take. I think whether we like it or not, CIG is going to release 1.0 sooner than we hope. Meaning, sooner than we hope is probably a better word. Sooner than we think.
I'm with you on this.
Because I think CIG is trying to shoot for 1.0 either in 2026 or 2027. And so basically, because they wouldn't have planned out 1.0 like they have without having it part of a 2-year plan. Because that's basically, from my understanding of how my layman's understanding with some research, anything in doing with technological research, technological like stuff, development, especially software development, anything past 2 years is a guess. Is a wish. It's not even a guess. Then the further you get away from your current status is the more insecure and unsure. So one of the reasons why something is always 2 years away is because they have to have that's the best outside understanding they have is 2 years.
I'm not sure if I would go so far and say 2026 for 1.0.
I don't think they'll hit 2026. We're talking about plans versus execution. But I think it's going to come out sooner than we think, and as a result, a lot of ships, and some of the minor gameplay fact stuff is just going to get dropped until post 1.0.
So, but the thing is, Paul, just based on CIG's own understanding of things, disregarding Genesis, you have to play. You have to press the button now, Paul.
Oh, someone's already pressed it. All right, I can't press the button, but yes, Genesis. I'm not gonna press it, but you got it.
The thing is, they still need to finish Castra.
Yeah.
Which probably takes still another half a year, probably. It's hard to say how far they are with the landing zone. And then they have Terra. And Terra is probably at least 1.5 years away. At least. So just from their own internal schedule, how long they would need for all this landing zones and the systems coming in. I'd say they probably say, okay, 2 years and we're done with the systems. And then we can think about where the rest is. Because even the guild system and reputation system will probably take quite some time. I mean, they are insanely in depth, all those skills and the quests. So I don't think CIG shoots for 2026.
I think they do, but I also think they're really ambitious. So
my headcanon
Good.
Is Squadron 42 Invictus 2026?
I think that's good. A good release date too.
And then Squadron 42 for Invictus, and then CitizenCon/IAE time zone is going to be 1.0 like beta or something.
Yeah, I could see them getting to the point where they have a beta build where it's like 1.0, and then after this we're releasing 1.0, so like 4. or beta point, whatever. Like they'll release a point where they're just like, we're not adding new things. We're just going to fix the problems we have right now over the course of 6 months, and then we'll release the 1.0 sort of thing. Yeah, I think that's the answer. Is that that's a completely separate thing, but because I think we're going to start seeing, if I'm right, we're going to start seeing over the next 6 months, CIG talking about more and more things and ships that just won't make 1.0. Like they'll start cementing. Like I don't think passenger transport is going to make it in 4.0 or 1.0. I don't think several aspects.
Considering they want fleet battles in 1.0, I think they might push for another Corvette.
Yeah.
Simply to offer diversity.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be honest. I'll see the.
We'll find out on Invictus. I think that's because that'll be 18 months from Invictus to 2027. So what was it? Anyway, let's get into the upgrades discussion because it was the thing we promised we were going to talk about. The CCUs. For those of you who don't know what a CCU is, it used to be called the CCU, called the Cross Chassis Upgrade. They're kind of confusing, but if you say have an Aurora package, and instead of getting an Aurora, you really want that Cutlass Black because you purchased it in game or you rented it in game, you're like, this is really good. It gives me all the upgrades that I want. I would like to get this so it doesn't get it wiped, so I can always have this in my account. You can go to the store page, go to upgrades, and you find your Aurora, and then you find the Cutlass Black, and then you say something to the effect of, upgrade, and it'll generate a upgrade package from your Aurora to the Cutlass Black, which is going to be the cost of the difference between those two ships. So the Aurora is, I think, $35 or $40 in terms of credit, and the Cutlass is $100, so it would be like a $60 thing which would populate, and you would pay $60, and now you've got a upgrade package that you can apply to your ship in your package which will turn your Aurora into a Cutlass Black in game. 110. I thought that was the package was 110. So it's 30 and 110. You get my point. I am not being. That is not specifically advised for you to get an Aurora from a Cutlass Black, and you see it's more than $60. It probably is because depending on when you're watching this. The point being, you pay the difference between the actual value of the ship and the ship you want. So people have discovered a system that is very, very efficient for saving money.
And I have to interrupt you, Paul, because do not start playing around with CCU chains. Your wallet will cry.
Yes.
Do not use CCU chains. Don't start it. Don't do it. No. Stay with the starter pack. Don't.
This is why he didn't do the CCU bit. This is why I let X do it for me. I'm just trying to explain this. And the reason why you don't is because it's like a drug. You can get really far down the chain, and CIG will mess up one thing, will change one price, and you've just screwed up your whole chain. Because what people will do is they'll buy a starter ship or buy an LTI token, and they'll use that as the basis for applying. Each sale has a discount. So each sale for all the sales will have a discount CCU. And sometimes they'll have discount CCUs otherwise.
It's not about the sale, it's about the Warbond CCU. So
that's what I mean. But what I'm saying is each sale has a Warbond CCU specific. So each sale will have one ship that is specifically on Warbond CCU, or at least it has for the IAE.
And those Warbond CCUs have discounts, so if you only get from one Warbond CCU to the other Warbond CCU, you can save quite a lot of money.
So for instance, say that you get a Cutlass Black, that we're using that example, and you get that Warbond CCU for Cutlass Black, which is that it's on discount for $80
off. Probably $20 cheaper.
Yeah, like $20 cheaper, so yeah, like $90. It's $90. This is an example. This doesn't actually exist. Okay, I don't have to put up disclaimers everywhere, but that means that instead of that, what is 30 to?
I mean, I've taught this system to people.
Yeah.
I've taught the system to people and using it's like extreme couponing.
Yes,
right? You're stacking coupon on coupon on coupon on coupon and going up in value of the ships every single step of the rung of the ladder.
Yeah.
You're saving $5 here, $10 here, $10 here, $25 here, $50 here, and then you've built a brand new merchantman for $300.
Basically,
And
because you still have to
the
pay.
big issue is
You still have to pay the difference.
Yes.
But
yeah, and the big thing is, so you always spend $5 on one War 1 CCU. You always have to pay real money for the War 1 CCU,
Yes.
different from the normal CCUs, which you can use with store credits. And in my case, I thought I want a daily driver because I only have large ships in my hangar. I started my CCU chain this year with Invictus. I wanted a nice, cute little daily driver. I thought a 400i. My CCU chain now reaches up to the 600i, which is not small anymore.
yeah.
And that's the whole issue with the CCU chain, and this is why do not use CCU chains. You will pay you will just spend money.
My caveat to this is people that have already put in thousands of dollars and then didn't realize the CCU game existed.
Yeah.
I've done. Some people go into these sales. They've already put in 5-10 grand into the game, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I understand. The people that have put that amount of money into the game and just bought ships outright, they're coming to these events, IAE, Invictus, with a sort of a budget in mind already. They're like, I'm already going to spend $300. I'm going to buy the new ship that comes out. I'm already planning on doing that. I've saved some money. It's like a thing I do every year. It's like, okay, it's not ridiculous. As far as hobbies go, not crazy. What you can then do is say, hey, instead of spending $300 on the one ship, spend the $300 on the little upgrades and melt the ships that you have and then rebuild them using the chaining. I've done this for a couple of people and recovered thousands in store credit for them.
Yeah.
So they can just get the new ship without spending anything. And yeah, somebody here says, don't expect a good one within one sale. I disagree. Within one event, like you're able to get 40-50% off on some of the really big ships, just from one like 2-week long event like IAE. Like I'm helping multiple people right now get Polaris's or Persei, because there's a Polaris loaner for the Perseus. People are like, I'll just get a Perseus instead. Yeah, I mean, you can get lots of money back, but if you're just like with a starter package, stay with the starter package. That's my advice. Don't go and spend hundreds of dollars unless you were already planning on it.
I mean, we talked about how Star Citizen funding dropped this year a bit, but let's face it. Get your starter package, stay with the starter package.
Yeah.
You're fine. You are
every
fine.
Every org needs more people with just starter packages.
Yes.
Every single org. Because there are, even the small orgs that are like 10 people, there's going to be one whale among them that's like, I have 50 ships. Yeah. I'm going to provide for the org. It's like, okay, well, you got to find crew for them. And those crew got to come from the community that has nothing. Or
I mean, the good thing is if you average the costs out, so the money earned with the citizens we have, I mean, right, we could do this really quick. Let's just let me just get.
Go ahead and do that. I'm gonna explain something as well. The thing that is, Luna does put it out. CCU chaining has the same psychological short-term rush as gambling addiction for those into it. It's extreme couponing. It's the same thing as extreme couponing, where like people are like, I can get so much DKs. Like you hear stories like somebody got a Polaris for like $180 because of the right chains. The thing is if you are already spending a lot of money in it, you can have some value into it. Now this year, I think one of the big problems that people have is that the current values of the CCUs are kind of disappointing. Some of them are really good, but some of them are a little bit down, because I think the biggest discount was like $30, $20 or $30.
Yeah.
So
there's a $50 BMM.
$50 BMM.
Yeah. Anti-Polaris is like 75.
So I've got a Perseus for $100 because I won a Constellation Phoenix at a trivia thing from CIG at a Star Citizen in Santa Monica. And you can upgrade from the giveaway ships, and those have value.
Yeah,
and that's what I did.
Yeah, if you
streamers do giveaways all the time.
Yeah, I do all the time. And if you get a referral Gladius, for instance, which is $90 value, you can use that as a base, and then
Yep.
because it still has value, you can't melt it, but if you can apply an upgrade to it, which I have, which I applied an upgrade to from a Gladius to an F8 F7A, and so I got a discount of $90 off of my F7A. So,
But yeah, don't start it. Don't start it.
yeah. So
Okay, the thing is, I only have the Star Citizen, so the actual accounts, not the sold game packages.
yeah,
But if you take our 755 millions we've collected and divide them by those 5.5 million citizens, every citizen has spent a total of $14. So it is higher for those people with actual game packages, obviously. But even if we only say that half have a game package, we're still only by $26. So yeah, most people are sensible enough and only got a game package with an Aurora.
yeah.
We do have the finale coming. We have BIS Day, and we have the finale. Both of which are going to have groups of sales.
Yes.
And so if you didn't know this existed and then you're wanting to maybe take a look at it, there are the two biggest pieces of this event are coming up and will be a good opportunity to save some money on some more expensive ships. CCUgame.app is the website that kind of does it all for you. It has an extension that loads in your entire hangar, and then just you can manage your whole fleet that way.
Another people to go to as a member of the Inforunners is Execute will do a bunch of like CCU chains. He'll build some chains live, or will help you out. He'll do videos on it to show you what chains can work with where. And we'll also talk with people. The Inforunners does have more than just Execute. There's a lot of the admin team are also CCU experts, so they can work there. I know I'm going to sit down with Execute sometime next week and build a chain for my Ironclad assault. I have a CCU from an M2 to a assault. So, and I was like, I should probably look at a chain for this one because I saw that the M2 was on discount earlier, and I'm like, because sometimes they'll come back, that kind of thing. The ones that were available the first, they'll come back for the finale. So you have that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, I just see Sisiano is correcting me. I probably did.
You probably punched in the wrong number. One more zero somewhere because that was close.
One on the wrong side. It's $136 per player.
Account, yeah.
Per account.
Yeah.
Still, most people are probably in the lower half of the ship sizes. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to also check out the CCU chain. I've used it for like the funding tracker, but nothing else. All right.
Oh man.
So let's move on because I think I wanted to talk a little bit about that because I think people wanted to hear about it in terms of what it was, because I know that some people don't know it exists and that what it does and that sort of thing. And I did hear that there's a little bit more disappointment this year in terms of.
Can I link my?
Go for it.
Okay, I'll just put it in the chat here. This is the thing that I wrote up as my presentation for CCU game stuff.
I mean, if you really want to do a good CCU chain, usually you spend 2 years on it. You go through 2 IAEs and 2 Invictus, and then you've got a good thing. But
yeah, I mean, if you can do it, CG will break one of your chains. They will always break one of your chains because they don't care about this sort of thing. So be careful with that sort of thing. So
and sometimes you break it yourself because you say, you know what, I want to branch out and get this ship for now as a daily driver, and then I have $10 less coupon.
All right, let's move on to.
I've got a question for you.
Okay. Oh, we've got a lot of questions, so let's make it quick.
Okay. Every IAE, there's this question about what ship do you want to see? And I want to put a spin on it because we have the theme New Frontier with Pyro approaching. So, considering Pyro, what ship would you like to see, new concept or vehicle, that would fit in the New Frontier / Pyro theme?
I mean, obviously what new ship or like ship that already
New
exists.
ship. New ship. New concept.
A small or medium base builder. Something that's smaller than the BLD but bigger than the SRV or the whatever that it's called, the truck. Something that's like a flyable base builder.
The Cutlass Concrete.
Yes. The Cutlass.
The cinder block.
The Cutlass Iron. You know,
Yes.
or the Cutlass. No, it's a good civilization color.
The Cutlass is even built for this. I mean, you have the one side you
the two
just
sides.
can open.
Yeah, the two sides you can open up. You know,
two sides probably not because of the door, but one side could open up.
Doesn't mean the door is on the side. You can just open them up. They can open
Yeah,
up.
but if you put the drones on the left side, you would block the entrance to the cockpit.
That's true. So yeah, so on the right side, put a medium drone on the left, and then throw it out there. You know, or one. The Cutlass Copper. Yes, the Cutlass Copper would be actually a fantastic name for it because it would harken back to the Ea Nasir joke that they made at.
Oh gosh.
Historical joke.
Oh my gosh.
For those who don't know, one of the earliest ever written records we have of human history is a complaint letter about Ea Nasir and how his copper is awful and he sold them bad copper. So that's where the joke comes from. All right, moving on. Or Apollo, what about you?
For ships?
Again, what ship would fit? What ship we haven't seen yet? Do you think would fit the theme of New Frontiers?
New
Frontiers. Oh gosh. Putting me on the spot here. I might have to bank that question and come back to it.
Okay.
Personally, I would like to see the Toyota Hilux.
Oh yeah,
and then the Toyota Tactical, and then you've got the Toyota Tactical from it.
Would you like it as a vehicle or as a ship?
Yeah, as a vehicle. Just a scrappy old.
A Misk truck.
Argo.
You want?
No, it's an Argo truck. Argo pickup.
What you want is a mule with a removable back, so you could install a gun on it.
Yeah, I've got it. The mule is not Argo. I really want to see Argo because we built this thing for people to work, and then people were crazy enough to put like a size 3 gun on the back.
Size 4, whatever. Yeah. Apollo?
Yeah. I want a larger version of the raft that has about 250 SCU.
Like the raft XL?
Yeah, like the barge, like I want something that I can live in and do cargo with. Like I have a Rylan, and that's basically what I'm looking forward to because it sits between the Taurus and the Caterpillar, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really there right now.
There's the Starlancer.
Now there is, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like
it's the only thing.
Yeah, I want an Argo Starlancer. Like that's
rather huge for the amount of cargo it carries.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, something like that. I mean, we've got the whole bee, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well, but
it's kind of there as well.
I want Argo. I love Argo's design language.
Yeah, we need more Argo ships.
All right, let's move on to the next question. So this is a quick one. Doc Platypus asks, question, will there be a 5.0 or is there nothing big between 4.0 and 1.0? There is no 5.0. 4.0 and then they'll go from 4.0 alpha to 1.0 release. That's
I could see them bring 5.0 with the guild system.
No, I don't think so. I think they're just going to stick with 4.0 and then
probably yes, but I can see some milestones.
We got to keep going there, Zark. We got to keep going.
Yeah.
I got a lot of questions. Walter Hack asks, how do you feel about the limited stock ships missing stock ships? I missed out because the website bugged out and seemingly we already have 1,000 Polarises per server now. I don't know what the question is about the Polaris. How would I feel about the limited stock ships? I understand the limited stock ships. I know a lot of people think they're just like, oh, it's FOMO. And I think, I don't really feel like it's FOMO. I feel like CIG doesn't want to sell a billion Polaris, a billion like Idrises.
Pioneers.
Yeah, and Pioneers.
I'll be honest, I think we're now in the 10th year of Star Citizen. No? 11th? 11th year of Star Citizen, and 10 years of IAE, I think the limited ship idea is kind of gone its way because we already have so many Idrises and Javelins in the verse simply due to how often. So, if Star Citizen would have released 2016, the limited ship sale would have made sense. Considering we are another 8 years on top, there are already so many ships. I don't think it really makes a difference.
Well, I also don't think it's a FOMO.
Some people.
I don't think it's a FOMO situation either because like everyone knows they can do it in the next year. And if CIG just sold them regularly like they would normally, I don't think they'd make any more money than they already do.
No.
But I also think that there are some cases of limited ship sales that are like specifically limited, hull limited, not like number limited, but the number like, hey, you only buy this at the sale. I think that's stupid. Like the Super Hornet shouldn't be something that is only purchasable at a sale. I don't even think it's purchasable anymore, but because they stopped selling the Mark 1s. But
yes.
Like there was I think it's one of the constellations. I think the Carrack was at one point limited or something like that too.
The Phoenix is hull limited.
The Phoenix is hull. They're hull limited though. There's a couple of ships that I have to go back and look at it where I'm like, why is this only sold at sales? Like why does this exist only for sales? That doesn't make a lot of sense. The artificial rarity, and I think that actually bites them in the ass because there's a lot of ships outside of the huge capital ships, which people would purchase when they had the money. Like I currently bought a bunch of stuff for Christmas and other things, so I don't have a ton of cash laying around for this sale. So if I wanted to buy something for the sale, now I'm going to have to wait until next year. So CIG doesn't get my money. Even if I have money in December, I don't have money now, and so because of the sale's not in December, I don't get it. So CIG doesn't get it for them. I think it actually hurts them in the long run for these sorts of ideas. But that's just sort of my opinion on it. So. All right.
We got AI crew question.
Next question comes from. I'm kind of working down the lists. Thank you, X. X is going through and one-upping everything. Like, or no, you're one-upping everything. Good.
Me, yeah, I got it.
Good. Thank you. That's how we usually do it, so we can mark that it's been answered. So. Zonti asks, do you think CIG confirming no AI crew at last launch month? Okay. My brain. Now I'm catching up because now I forget that people can actually read this now other than me. So Zark, you can actually check it in the question bot sections in the topics table. Yeah. Do you think CIG confirming AI crew at launch last month, no AI crew at launch last month, may have affected sales of multi-crew ships? Yes. I guarantee it.
Yeah. All of the people that have multi-crew ships that are like, I didn't need people, I can fly everything solo because I'm going to rely on AI, are now like nervously, picking their teeth like, I need to find an org.
And just be like,
I need to make an org. Or they just leave, or they sell their stuff.
I'll be honest, I'm glad about this because the thing is, people who understood the whole AI thing always knew you can't run your Idris just with AI. That's not feasible. So having this, okay, 1.0 is coming, AI crew will be after 1.0, people might start stepping back, reconsidering things, and then go, okay, maybe I don't need an Idris just for me. Maybe I'll just stick with the Perseus.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I've been saying for many years now, I'm always concerned that as Star Citizen becomes more of a game, we're going to see a lot of people realize that it's not the idea that they had in their mind. Like CIG said a lot of stuff. It's Chris Roberts. Chris Roberts says a lot of things. And Chris Roberts' vision is not going to be the same as reality, because once Chris Roberts' vision hits the limitations of what is possible, we're going to start to see compromises. We've already seen that. Chris wanted to say, nothing faked, everything up front. There's lots of stuff that's faked in the background for Star Citizen because they have to, because it's how the game functions at the scale. And there will be constantly things like that that'll happen where Chris wants something and they'll try to do it and then they can't get it done, so they'll pare it back to what they can get it done. And new things are added too, which like base building and ground gameplay was never really a concept. I mean, I don't remember how long you've been around, Zark, but I know Apollo, you and I have been around for a very long time. So we remember when the
I
ground
remember
gameplay.
the Kickstarter phase. So
yeah, we've us three have been around for when Chris Roberts and team were basically like, ground gameplay is a post-release feature. Like, we're gonna get it, but we don't really have an idea of what it's gonna look like and what it's gonna happen.
You get a explorable landing zone and that's it.
Yeah.
And then
and it was a
at one point they
cutscene.
say, yeah.
And it was a cutscene to land. You know.
Yeah, and then at what point they go, yeah, here, people, fully explorable planets. But I must say that's the great thing about the Polaris, because now people can finally see what capital ships are in game.
Yeah.
And I think many people are waking up to the
realities. Yeah.
I'll go and fly solo with my dreams.
That's why I always said that, like, even people with AI bots trying to run things with AI, it's like, it's never going to be as easy as you think, because there's going to have to be some sort of command system where you're commanding people to do things, and that's going to be clunky if you're solo, unless you're piloting it yourself. And there's a lot of issues, and I think a lot of people have always overestimated what's actually going to be in the game. But anyways, let's move on to the next question, which is Odin Bacon, who asks, and I'll have Apollo and Zark answer this, because this is one I do not know if it's the case or not, but it's asked to me, so I couldn't tell you this. Who asks, I have a question. Should I upgrade the F7C Mark II to the Starlancer Max? Is it worth it, or is it a bad trade to have to pay $62.50 in between?
It's a $75 jump, right?
So you could go cheaper if you use more CCUs in between. So if you go from the F7A to the next, cheaper chip with a Warband CCU, you could probably save another $30. The big question for every CCU is, do you want the Starlancer Max, and do you want it now? If you want the Starlancer Max today, pay your $60. If it's your dream ship, do it. Is it wise to spend the $60 on the Starlancer Max? Probably not, but you are probably already in a couple of $100 if I read between the lines. If you don't like fighters, if you aren't happy with your F7C, get the Starlancer Max. You only have to know if it's the ship you want to use.
Yeah, the problem
in the at the final, you can test it. If you haven't done so already,
you can test it out. You can rent it.
You can use it. If you find out that the Starlancer Max is crap for you, don't do it. Maybe you find a ship that's better. If you love it, do it. It's as simple as that.
I mean, yeah, don't apply anything yet until the finale. Like, wait for the BIS sale and also the finale, and then just get the Warbond deals for those and see if there's anything in between the value of your Hornet Mark II and the Starlancer Max. And if there are rungs of a ladder in between, you can save money on each one. That's really where it kind of ends.
The question also comes down to, like, they're completely different gameplay. Like,
yes,
an F7C Mark II, Hornet Mark II is a fighter, single solo person fighter. Getting a Starlancer Max is like, okay, so now you're going from a fighter to a cargo hauler, multi-crew cargo hauler. It's like, if you don't want to be a fighter and you want to go to Starlancer, I mean, we have a saying in the Inforunners, which is earn down. If you're already investing a lot of money, it makes more sense to get a larger ship in that category and then just earn down in game, rather than trying to if you're, again, if you're already investing that kind of money. But
and the Starlancer is also getting nerfed on its accelerations.
Yeah, it's a freelance. It's
like 25%.
It's a risk ship.
But there we are again on. Don't bother with the current
meta
state of the ship.
Yeah, because it could change.
It will change 100 times. I mean, even master modes isn't really in there yet, because they are still doing the sub modes. When quantum boosting is, there will be changes to the base STM speeds. There will be changes to the nav mode, because that will disappear. Then we have the quantum mode. Then with the quantum boost ability, we have. If you like the Starlancer Max, do the CCU. If you want to save some bucks, wait until the finale and work something out with the Warband CCUs.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like the Starlancer Max, don't use the CCU. If you want a stopgap, because instead of the Starlancer Max, you want, I don't know, the Hercules C2, but you only have $60 to spend for now, and you want to go into cargo hauling. Okay, go with this CCU. Again, you can use war bonds to save some money. But yeah, there's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with that one. Here's a good question.
Would be different if you'd ask if you should CCU to a redeemer?
No, the answer is no. I mean, even now, non-biased Paul would I don't think anyone would say get a redeemer right now if you want to get that gameplay. Get the paladin, which is in that gameplay range. It's cheaper right now.
Yeah.
Even though you don't get access to it, I guarantee you the loaner for it is going to be a redeemer anyways, because that's so Joe's got two questions. First off, has LTI lost value now? I was considering selling my LTI ship. I'm going to take this one because I think this is a complicated one to answer, and CIG has done a bad job explaining it, and they still have yet to. People need pictures, CIG. Your community needs pictures. They need pictures.
I explained the whole thing today to an orc mate.
You need like documentation. You need this is why CIG needs to actually do game design docs and publish them again, because they're very important for giving the ideas. So LTI has not lost any value. The issue is that the insurance system is more complicated now. One of the issues is that LTI has always been a base coverage. The purpose of LTI is if you have a huge amount of ships, you're going to have to pay insurance for every single one of those ships. But if you have LTI, then you automatically have coverage on a bunch of things that will never expire. So if you want to pull out a ship that has LTI, you don't have to I need to go out and get, extended coverage on this and that kind of stuff. If it's like an emergency situation, you need to pull it out right now because your org's got a raid and you need a Polaris, but you have a Polaris LTI, but you haven't pulled it out in forever. Now it's not just because it's been 8 months since the game's launched. You don't just lose coverage on that ship. Now you have that LTI. I'd argue that the 10 years insurance is effectively LTI, because it's 10 years of real life insurance, and how many games have lasted. Star Citizen's lasted as a development game 10 years, but how many games have lasted beyond 10 years? How many of you have played the same game every day for 10 years? You're in that sort of situation, or getting interested in it.
How old will you be when Star Citizen releases, and then you can add another 10 years?
Yeah. Someone's saying EverQuest has lasted for over 20 years. Have you played EverQuest for 20 years straight? That's the question. Have you played it off and on for 20 years, or even like that's the thing. 10 years is a lot of, or in 10 years we'll even be using that ship. The thing that is added to more complexity to it is that with a tier 3, because LTI is tier 1. It's been confirmed as just tier 1. You get lifetime insurance on tier 1, and then you have the warranty. Every ship gets a warranty if you purchase it with cash.
Yes.
Not with cash. You purchase on the website. If you purchase a website ship, it has a warranty. LTI or not, it has a warranty. Someone once came in and said, well, the LTI warranty is worth it because it's, whatever. It's like, no, there's no such thing as an LTI warranty. Everyone has LTI warranty because everyone has a warranty on the ship. You will always get that ship back as long as you have insurance. Yeah.
LTW, lifetime warranty.
Lifetime warranty, yeah, LTW. So when you're looking at that, the tier 1 for insurance is just get your ship back and all the starting components.
No, you just get the money back.
Well, with warranty. With a warranty.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's changed. Yeah. If you have warranty or not, that's the big change.
So if you have an LTI ship, you have a warranty, and you have tier 1 forever. However, if you want to update that ship for whatever reason, if you will lose those upgrades if you don't have a higher insurance tier. So tier 2 is for upgrades, tier 3 is for upgrades and base upgrades and cosmetics.
Decoration.
Yeah, decorations. And I think I may be inversing its decorations for tier 2 and equipment for tier 3, but I think it's.
You're right.
That's right. So
Decorations is tier 3. The ship upgrades, the aftermarket stuff that you get is tier 2.
tier 2.
They need to
So
stop using the word tier for stuff.
there's too many tiers. There's also tier for
Yeah,
beds, and there's
the
tier for
tier system
crafting.
changes because in injury, tier 1 is the best. For medic beds, tier 1 is the best.
Yeah.
In insurance, tier 1 is the worst.
Apparently, that's because in medical parlance, that is actually the way it works. Is like the tier 1 is the worst, rating, and tier 3 is the most basic rating. It's something like that. So,
but could we then also apply this for like insurance? Like you have a tier 3 insurance, and if you want everything back, you need a tier 1 insurance.
Yeah, you could,
just for some.
It's confusing. It's the reason why people are confused by it. So the reality is that LTI hasn't changed at all in terms of its value, but because the insurance system is a little bit more complex, it's not nearly as.
Okay.
Hold on, Dark. Let me finish. I'm trying to put it in a way that kind of underpins this idea, because the problem is that with things like crafting, you're not going to be able to buy a tier 5 level ship. Your ship is always going to be a lower tier if you purchase it with cash. We know that. And you're going to have to craft bigger ships or better ships, or improve your baseline ships with tier 5 equipment and stuff like that. Yeah. And that's going to require tier 2 or tier 3 insurance to cover if you want it back. So because the insurance system is a little bit more complicated, LTI still holds the same value, but it's not going to give you as much longevity as it used to. Whereas before it was like, yeah, you were always going to get stuff back, but that was it. It was just like, oh, it's basic tier stuff, we get it back. Now it's like, since there's more complicated features, it becomes less of a, in my mind, less of a must-have. If you have LTI, don't melt it unless you don't want that ship anymore. But I also don't think you should go out of your way to look for LTI unless you have a fleet of like 1,000 ships or some insane number of ships. So,
their change to the system.
I will also say one thing before you go, because Matt's saying, literally explaining why it has less value. It's not less value. It was always the same value. It has not changed at all in its value. It just, people always thought it was more valuable than it was.
Yes,
that's the thing.
It
didn't change at all.
I think it's 8 years ago when they first talked about, okay, you can upgrade weapons. They even showed like the different tiers of weapons. It's 8 years ago. So the whole crafting tier and everything they expanded CitizenCon, we've known this shit for 8 years at least.
Yeah, and they've gone out of their way to explain that LTI isn't very valuable. It's not what the community thinks it is. But they just gave up because they realized they could make money off of people for it. So they're just like, fuck it, let's just do it. So it was always baseline insurance.
So there's nothing that's changed. And even the explanation, the only thing that they changed with the explanation of the insurance is they said, okay, usually you only get your money back, but if you have a warranty, you also get the ship back.
Yeah.
Every ship you buy in the pledge store has warranty forever. You can. That's it. So LTI has always been the same. It's nice to have. It is for sure a reason to do some things and to get your LTI tokens, even if you don't need them. But there's no lost value.
Apollo, sorry, I was cutting you off. What were you saying?
It makes me feel less bad about having my game package be a 4-month insurance 325A.
Yeah, I mean that's fine because it also has. I guarantee you, it comes with Squad 42 too. So it's like, that's a good value. Yep. That's probably more valuable than LTI. Honestly, is having a game package with Squadron 42 in it. So
small trick on the side: if you use a Warbone CCU, you can actually get 10-year and even LTI.
Not upgrading my 325A with the custom paint that I got back from the Origin event.
That part, yeah.
I'm keeping it.
All right, let's move on to the next question because Joe also asked up there. Does having a second or third full pledge give you an additional character? Last we heard, yes, but it has been a long time, so we don't know, and none of us what we say are going to change that. It's something that CIG has to clarify.
There are some. They recently.
They did recently talk about having multiple character slots.
Yeah. So, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
We need more clarification because they did say something about like having multiple slots in your account, which is a little weird. So, Escape asks, do we expect to see the DC missions post 4.0 save Stanton lineup? Think meshing, is that what it needs? Apollo, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see those missions come back?
The distribution center mission?
Yes.
Oh, the save Stanton stuff. Maybe. I think really it was just too many things were spawning.
Yeah.
It was like a cloud of enemy ships in the sky on top of the incessant spawns of enemies in the spawn closets. I think they just had to turn down some dials. And maybe meshing would help because of the concentration of the number of things that need to be simulated, as well as the fact I think there were one or two going at the same time on a server, and the whole server was chugging trying to make it happen. A whole bunch of people were descending upon the same location and causing all kinds of mayhem. People were dropping like A2 bombs to like clear out the area. I was watching a prowler like do spirals in the sky. Like I was like, what is going on? Yeah. So maybe.
But the phase 1 Stanton missions won't return after 4.0. They said this because it's all about the narrative thing, and as far as I can tell, it's the whole build up to Pyro. So you do the save Stanton missions, and after we're done with them, they are gone.
I do think that they'll rework those missions though, because like the the basic missions of like having that assault on a distribution center, I think they can rework that with some other stories. So.
They teased distribution center raids during CitizenCon last year. So, I mean, I'm, like Overwatch style push the payload kind of thing.
Yeah. Zark, What do you think? Do you think we'll see him come back?
The archetype probably, the safe stand not.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. When is the question? Because I don't think they'll return with 4.0 simply due to server meshing.
They don't have enough testing for it too. So I think I could see it coming in with Invictus or somewhere around there to something that combined with that. So. All right, Gin Tonic asks, what was the one niggling thing that ought to be fixed that you really, really want fixed? For me, it's true persistence. I hate logging off and not logging back in there. I've come to hate waking up in the hab. Are you with that? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. True persistence.
Go ahead.
This will be
Apollo.
the next big game changer.
Friend markers, party markers, please.
Oh, breaking.
Please.
Friend party markers breaking all the time.
Yeah, party markers have not been fixed in months.
I don't have any party markers breaking at me at least for 7 or 8 months.
I will say that you were lucky. You were very lucky. I will say the thing we talked about earlier, the unoptimizedness of the Moby Glass. Optimize that. Holy shit! I'm staring at the thing all the time. Why does my frame rate drop to 2 FPS every time I stare at that? That thing should be smooth as butter every time I open it. Like,
how many friends do you have on your friends list?
Yes, but it's not even my friends. It's like when I look at the chat, or if I look at the friends list, but also like the missions and the actual like the maps, it always lags out. So I think it needs some love to like rebalance and really, really kind of put that down there. So
the animation's also really flashy.
I want him to fix my F7A Mark II. So last patch, I couldn't put on the paint. This patch, I can't edit the nose turret. Yeah. But I can get my paint.
Did they also break beacons? Players can't make beacons right now.
They've broken beacons. They've broken. Someone else is saying like legal salvage missions haven't worked for a year and over half a year. I know like mining has in some cases been just straight up broken. Some parts of mining.
But I'll be honest, beacons I don't really care right now because the whole support system, so beacons are useful, is still missing.
Yeah. It's a lot of small things. I know why they don't fix them, because those are optimizations. Those are things you do when you finish. That is what we'll see when right before 4.0s or not 4.0.
And they've probably broken due to server meshing again. Either way, so
yeah. There's probably a lot of issues that they need to go through, because like, why fix the party markers when you have a brand new party system you're going to introduce? Why fix the skin system when you've got a brand new skin system you're going to introduce, or whatever, this update stuff. So all right, next question comes from Steve the Dancer, who asks, with base building and crafting with drones, do you feel the Vulcan light repair ship is coming soon? Also, did you feel Vulcan with the 12 SCU getting bigger?
The Vulcan will not grow any bigger because it's one of the more modern ships, and they don't tend to grow.
Well, the Polaris grew a little bit, and
yeah, but
not much.
the Polaris is older than the Vulcan, and usually, yeah, I believe so.
Huh.
And the Vulcan is also a rather small ship, so it's easier to plan ahead. And the thing is, the Vulcan isn't really there with drones and crafting. It's more like the whole repair and rearm stuff that needs to work. And then
like the Crucible. It comes back to the Crucible, right?
Yeah.
We have that same kind of, repair, rearm, refuel, and the Vulcan's going to do that, but smaller with drones. And it's like, I don't know, back when Astro was a thing that had drones flitting around your ship, like, I think that was what they were going to use for the Vulcan. Yeah. Effectively the same kind of little small buzzard things going around and zapping your ship with repair beams.
You have to control the drones, and you have to remote control them, and then it's the thing, how do they work? How do you detach stuff? So personally, I see the Crucible coming in before the Vulcan, actually. Because the Crucible, you don't need drones. You just have your hangar.
It has drones, though.
But you don't have
it has a landing pad, I think is what you're trying to get to. You can land, and then the landing pad system will allow people to repair, maybe.
Yes, and the control drones to repair larger ships outside of the Crucible, you can just have them not working, and Crucible is only doing small-scale crafting and repairing, would be fine. And then you add on the drones later on. So yeah, I see the Crucible actually coming in before the Vulcan.
I disagree. I think the Vulcan's coming in before because they're working on drone gameplay. And I also think that CIG is this is one of those things where I think Chris is like, we're going to physically be able to, like, you can see an outline of a hologram and you'll see it printing your no. You're going to see it just magically pop into existence, and what they'll do is they'll force it so that the doors close and you can't see into it, and you'll see some lights flashing, and then it'll be fixed. You will not see them repairing your ship by hand. That is too much work and too much memory for them to deal with it. You might see it in some cutscenes or some like NPCs working on stuff, but that is they are going to fake that because it's just easier. And I think that's what's going to happen with the drones. So
they talked about it with the Pioneer, like, blast shield is lowering down to protect your eyes. That's the explanation why you can't see inside.
You don't get to see this happening.
Yeah. But yeah, and I think some of it will like with the Vulcan, it'll just sort of magically repair. But we'll see. Next question comes from Gin and Tonic, who asks, do you think we will see remote turret interfaces, or do you think the remote turret interface needs a rework? To me, the full screen VR view and just popping into its nearly really anti-immersive.
It's a camera. I mean, it's a remote turret. It needs a camera.
Yeah.
Jumping into it. It's like opening a periscope and going, boop, I get to see what's through the periscope. I don't think it needs too much.
I think we'll see some changes. I think we might see some more animations where it's just kind of like your head going down into the screen and then it kind of activates, because I do think that they also want to prevent people from just flipping back and forth, and they want to have some animations. At the same time, CIG also seems to be moving away from animations being so immersive with Star Citizen and focusing that more on Squadron. As a result, so you can, because one of the problems, if you remember early days, people were complaining about how long it took for you to get into and out of your ship, because it was like the animations were super long and complex, and so they were like, faster, we need faster. It seems like taking too leisurely. So,
and I mean, they probably could go in and like have the remote turret screen on your MFD, and then you control it via the MFD. But if the MFD is only like half your screen, you don't want to use the remote turret.
Yeah,
they could make it more immersive, but the good thing with Star Citizen is, like Jared said, we'll bring it close to realistic and then back to fun.
Yeah,
and
I could see at least some sort of like animation where like you like it kind of the cut to it is a little gamey in my experience.
Yeah.
Like where you just cut to the screen and it's like, okay, I'm just in the screen now. But
don't make it like an 80s CRT, please.
yes, please.
Or maybe there's something like they make such a
like a
visor
visor you pull
down.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like this they could add. So yeah.
That's kind of what they do with Squadron. Like the Squadron, when you're a gunner, the gunner, you actually have this visor kind of fall down. They could take that same animation and then just have you want to use the remote turret, you need to have a remote turret gun, or a helmet or something like that. So I don't
make sense with
I don't
specializations.
Jin saying or make it look like it's projected on your visor or something. There's no way they're going to do that. That is far too much work. Like, holy fuck, that is. I don't know enough about it, and I'm thinking like, Jin, come on, man. That's like for what? For a remote turret? That seems like a lot of projection on projection sort of thing. But having like the visor pull down and then it transitioning to your to the gun screen, I think would make sense, and then transitioning out.
And just talking about the visor, we all remember those blurry writings and the shitstorm that brought with it.
Oh yeah,
a couple months back.
The blurry, HUD, yeah.
So imagine you use this blurry HUD to use the remote turret. No, just no.
Isn't that what I asked for? No, because it sounded like you were saying like you could project it to the visor, so like your screen changes entirely. So like you're it's still on your helmet as if you're in a thing. And if CIG did that, they would want the people outside of your view to be able to look at you and see that you're doing it. And so they want to see the back reflection of that back at them. And you know how this works. That's how CIG thinks. If it's just like the visor, like a specialized helmet you have to pull down and then it just becomes polarized or something like that. But because that also requires them to do it for every single helmet and every single visor. And there's a lot of different visors out there, including the different versions of them. So having it specialized would make sense. But I also think the CIG is going to keep it simple and just hit button. Now you're in a remote turret because that's just easy. So. Okay, next question comes from Bundo, who asks, do you think the Vulcan will get variants? No.
Oh, why would it?
I could see it as a medium base builder.
Yeah, but just get a different ship. That's what the BLD is. Or not BLD, that's large, but yeah.
I mean, Aegis isn't really there to make a lot of variants.
Yeah.
So, probably not. It would.
I mean, we got the Vanguards.
Yeah, but they're kind of like a unique variants because they're actually supposed to be, at least originally, the idea was that they could swap out the main whole sections. So, like,
yeah.
So.
Then we got all of the Sabers, and then we got all of the Gladius and Gladius Valiant.
I don't know. I mean, let's be fair. The Valiant is just a skin with guns. That's all it is.
Sure, yeah.
With different guns.
I mean,
the Vulcan really screams base builder simply because it has cargo, exchange the drones, and be done. Maybe later down if the Vulcan is built.
Or we can theory craft all day.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting question, but I don't know if there's much we can do about it.
Yeah, I don't think it fits with Aegis's that fits Aegis's lineup. I think you're probably more likely to see something like a medium base builder from Drake. Like we said, the Drake Cutlass is perfectly built for that sort of thing. You just have one side of the hull. You just open up the doors and you just send out the the 2 small drones or whatever, or 3 small drones.
Also, they have that like heart thing that they pushed out.
Yeah,
like that'll fit nicely.
Yeah. So, but I'm talking about like a medium base builder or something like because right now we have the cart and then we have the truck and then we have the BLD. There's nothing between the truck and the BLD. There's no small and there's no medium. So though I don't think they'll ever do a small because they already have the truck and the push cart, which can literally fit inside of a cutter. So why would you build a dedicated base building ship when you have the cart?
Yeah. Speaking of the build, they haven't put that for sale yet.
No, I don't think they'll sell it.
And as soon as they do that, as soon as they put the Star Lancer BLD on sale, they're going to sell an insane amount of them.
I think they're waiting for base building to be in game. I think because they said it won't be available when base building's in, but I think when they put it
The
in there,
Pioneer will not be in
I
when
don't.
base building.
I
comes.
think they
The
also.
BLD they didn't say anything about the BLD.
I remember them saying that it wouldn't be available when base building first came in, but it would be shortly after. Whereas the
Yeah,
Pioneer
that's
may
what they
not be
said about the
available.
Pioneer. That was the Pioneer.
Yeah, okay. I remember correctly, but I remember incorrectly, I should say. But
Yeah, John said, yeah, good news. We are starting work on a Pioneer. Bad news won't be in with
so
base building.
they said the BLD will be available with base building. Okay, so then 100%, it's coming out when they announce space building. Whatever patch that is, that's when it'll come out. So, but you're right. If they had sold the BLD at this Invictus or this IAE, they would have printed money. It would have just been because plenty of people balked at the Pioneer price because it took a while for it to sell at the War Bond. But BLD was $600. People would have bought that. I mean, look at what they did with the Ironclad. So.
Look at the outrage that we had when the Galaxies module wasn't.
Yeah,
they were like, "Oh yeah, it's not in the plans to have a base building module for the Galaxy," and then they backtracked. Like, "Okay, maybe we'll put it on the plans."
Mm.
Because they showed it in that screenshot with all of the different base building things, and they're like, "Here's the Galaxy, maybe,"
yeah.
and then everybody bought a Galaxy thinking they can build bases with it. Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Parker GPS, who asks, does the Pioneer design getting a big garage and drones for manufacturing? Should Crucible be concerned that it may lose its repair arm or other features? Almost certainly the Crucible is going to remove some of its arm. Because that was the thing, like the arm on the Pioneer was supposed to be the actual construction thing. And it seems like they've gone away from that. I think what you're going to see is either the Crucible will replace the drones, its repair will be replaced with drones, and those drones will be like Apollonot said, the old spinny Cryastro drones, which will just like shoot repair beams and stuff like that at something to repair it. But yeah,
The thing with the Crucible is this thing will get a major reconcept because it does not even fit with the Anvil style anymore.
oh no, it's so old. It's older than
no metric works. If they work on those things, I argue it probably doubles in price.
easily.
It grows to probably 150 meters. It will be massive. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a medium-sized fabrication hangar for ships. Wouldn't be surprised. Not that it happens.
I don't think it builds ships, but we'll see.
That's the thing. How do they use repair versus building versus crafting? But yeah, this thing, it will get a major glow up.
Someone else made a suggestion. It's like, what is repair blocked behind Maelstrom? And I was like, yeah, Maelstrom. I think Maelstrom is a big feature for that. So we'll have to wait for that one. All right. So Isogen asks. Let's move on.
I don't think it's Maelstrom.
Yeah, what do you think it is?
So, okay, we have baseline repair already in game with the salvage and repair tool. And the big thing with repair, I believe, is more like we could already repair certain parts of the ship if we make use of a similar system like the hangars do. But there's no ship that could provide this service. So they probably want to wait for Maelstrom just in case they have to rework things. But the main issue why there's no more repair coming is there's no ship for it. We have one ship that can actually build parts of your ship and reattach them. That's the Crucible. And that thing is old. And no other ship we have right now has any repair facilities. The next one that has some, and which will probably be the first step towards repair, is the Ironclad Assault with the vehicle bay. And that's the first time we'll probably see repair.
Possibly. It says component repair, so we definitely need to see where CIG is going with it, because I think whatever crafting is going to have to tie into repair, whatever that is.
That for sure.
All right, next question comes from Isogen, who asks, I was cleaning up my ship skins and noticed that I have an old Electra skin hull from like 2010, 2015. Is this just old legacy stuff? Hold on to it or melt it for $5 credit. Do you need that $5 credit?
Hold on to it.
If the answer is you don't need that
buy it
$5
back anyway.
Well, that's true, because it goes in your buyback.
Yeah.
So if you do, but I mean, it's $5, because like we have no idea what it's for. It was built well before the current paint system, and the idea was it was supposed to apply to any ship. I doubt it's going to apply to any ship, but it might be. They might give you something cool for it down the line. It's also just you have an old Electra skin like thing. Like I've got an old Aurora pirate skin. Like those things are crazy weird and stuff like that. It's like, is this neat? So
there's the shut up and take my money skin.
Yeah. Shimpasta asks, will the Crucible be Anvil's capital ship? The answer is they already have a capital ship. I believe it is the Carrack.
No, they don't. The Carrack is not a capital ship.
It has capital class, doesn't it? Capital class features?
Size 3s.
Size 3s?
It has only size 3s. The Crucible might be a capital ship for Anvil.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be. It's big, but it's not bigger than that would be huge, because I think it's right now. Bigger. Huh?
I mean, we have the Liberator. That's going to be the closest we'll have.
Yeah.
And Liberator is smaller than the Carrack.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like the Carrack is the Crucible is about the same.
60 meters right now. 60 meters.
It's obviously going to get bigger, but like, is it going to get double the size? Like, is it going to get over? Because like Carrack is 130 meters. Like
124.
124. So yeah, it would have to double the size to even meet Carrack, and the Carrack is already not a capital class, and I think the Polaris is the smallest. So
what is capital class? I could see the Crucible becoming a capital class based on the fact that it could get one capital size component, like a power plant or something, but it will never be this flying base like the Polaris is.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll come out with their own capital ship. But...
Yeah, they get a new one. But...
Banner Merchantman asks, or Banner Merchantman, Otakon asks, Banner Merchantman in 1.0 or after?
After.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts so much.
There's going to be a lot of pain. I think there's going to be a lot of like, is my ship coming out? And I think of the backlog, probably half of them aren't going to come out until after 1.0.
I think the developers or the people doing all the art for the BMM, like they went to another project. Like
Paul Jones and his team left for Montreal. They currently work in not in Montreal CIG, but work for Ubisoft. So like 24 people left or something like that. 24. It was like 10 people left. So
considering that Ubisoft is suffering, they could come back and then they could finish the BMM before 1.0.
I think if they came back, if they came back, it would take years for them to get back onto that pass. So.
You want my cathedral of cargo? Come on.
Yeah. John Crew should have focused on ripping the Band-Aid off and went down the list of what's coming post 1.0. I don't think they know. I don't think they really legitimately have 100% understanding of what is or isn't coming out post 1.0 yet. So they're not going to tell you it's not coming out and then come out, because then people get mad, which is weird to think about that. But yeah, people will be mad.
I think with the Merchantman, there's also the whole part about AI crew and AI walking onto the ship, buying stuff and all those things, which could lead into the ship also being pushed back, not just its size and the missing people, but also the functionality of the marketplace.
Yeah, that's another thing, because Vazarius asks, do you recommend applying CCU Crucible Endeavor upgrade chains given the announcement they are post 1.0? No. As a high priest of the cult of the Endeavor, you should not be applying your CCU chains for the Endeavor until the Endeavor is out. They're not going to get rid of the CCU chains forever. They may pause you from being able to purchase them in the future, but if you have one, don't cash it in unless you absolutely 100% want to. Because the other thing is that those ships may not come out 1.1.0. It might be maybe years after 1.0 before they're like the Endeavor. I joke, but seriously think is going to be the last ship that CIG ever builds, because it's that complicated. It requires the entire game to be done, and the entire game won't be done with 1.0 as much as CIG wants to think it is. So
I know some people that are applying chains just to get the loaners.
That's true. You can do that, but
Like the Banu Merchantman has a C2, a Hull C, and a Banu Defender, which are pretty useful.
Mhm.
And I mean the loaners for the Endeavor are going to be the Starfarer and the Cutlass Red. It might change to a Terrapin Medic. I don't know. We'll see.
The Hope, you mean?
Yeah, if you have the Endeavor Hope, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a question we missed though
What's that?
from Mopar. What changes would you make to future IAE events?
Did I skip one? Oh, I did. Yeah. What changes would you make to the future IAE event in the future? On future event in the future? We need more interactive stuff on the floor. I've been on this for a while. Invictus needs to have a recruitment booth. They already do, but they need to be able to interact with the people there. Every convention I've ever been to, and Apollo, I'm sure you've been to a few conventions when you have things like the military there during recruitment, they'll have some sort of game or some sort of activity you do, and lots of groups will come in there with little activities for convention floors. We need stuff like that so people can do stuff on the floor. Like I've joked, the military should be, the Navy should be there, and they should have they should make a small room which like an old laser tag thing, and you have the Nerf guns, and you walk around and you shoot NPCs with Nerf guns, and that kind of thing, or holograms with Nerf guns, and that sort of use some of that technology they developed for the shooting range for Squad 42 and put it into like a little room where you can practice those things.
Great.
Yeah.
Some themed missions like in New Babbage, repair stuff around the IAE hall, maybe some service tunnels where you have to crawl through and repair things.
Yeah.
Just to really show you, okay, even if you're not in the expo hall, the expo is here. You have the opportunity to work with the expo, and maybe even do 1 week after and before and after the expo some cleanup and thing missions. Yeah.
Bopar, I would die laughing if they added a section that was just a ball pit. I would die laughing at that reference. Oh, please, just a sad ball pit with a like an inflatable pool with balls in it. Please, Saji, that would be funny.
And then we built the Constellation ball pit.
All right. Let's go move on to the next one. Chris King asks, would you be happy or sad if the contested zone reward ship turned out to be the jalopy? I think it's going to be random. I think it's going to be whatever they want it to be. And I think they can randomize it, which would be nice. What do you think? What do you think the contested zone ship is going to be? For those of you who don't know, the reward at the end of the contested zone is theorized to be a ship. Because in Evocati right now, in PTU right now, it is placeholder, I think, an Adventure Titan. So you get a free Titan, and it gets added to your ship list. So it's like when you win, you get there, you get into it, it gets added to your available pool list. So
in game and not on your account.
In game, not on your account. Yeah, it's like as if you purchased a ship. So
right. I mean, yeah, that's cool.
Tinfoil
They can set it to whatever they want. Give it a special skin of you get the pirate faction skin for whatever station you finished your contested zone. Like, cool, yeah.
Okay, tinfoil hat. We remember the strange silhouette that looks like a cut off Corsair.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a rake ship. It's a one-off manufacturer ship. It's a pyro ship.
Okay, like the ship jackers in Squadron.
Yeah. So, and each contested zone each system would have contested zones, and the most difficult contested zones give you one criminal made ship.
I forgot what they're called in MechWarrior. There's a term for those.
Frankenstein.
They're called. There's a different name for them. There's like a special Frankenstein pirate mech that's like a Frankenmechs. But there's a specific one that I know that a lot of people. I remember fighting it in MechWarrior 5 clans. Being, what the heck is this? But yeah. All right. I'm gonna mark that as complete for the next one, because that's definitely not one. We only have 2 more questions. Phantom 0596 asks, has there been any development in the scanning gameplay, and what are you expecting of it? There is, but it is only in the monthly reports, and we have not heard them talk about it. I do expect it to be a big focus of CIG's ISCs and other things in the next year, if not before the end of the year, because the Corsair, thank you, the Corsair Frankenmech. It obviously can't use a Corsair because the name. Well, CIG is bad at naming. Why not call it a Corsair? But the thing is they have talked extensively about it in the monthly reports. They've been working on it since July, and that means I think it was probably on track to be released in Q1 of next year. Because typically it's 6 to 9 months for something like that when they start working on something before it coming out. But they also usually talk about it if they're coming closer, and they haven't said anything outside of monthly reports about it. And knowing Nyx's main theme is darkness, because it's right next to this nebula, this dark nebula, which supposedly messes up scanners. I expect that just like the environmental hazards and engineering was the big theme of Pyro, I expect Nyx's thing to be scanning and stealth. And because scanning and stealth are already in development, and the one thing they talked about was delta signatures and how those things are registered. We don't know a lot of details about it yet, though. So, yeah. Anything else y'all want to add about that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if this person has played in the last few patches, but scanning has changed a lot since it was last a thing. You kind of have to scan ships now to get name tags and what's inside the ship, and it also allows your gunners to target things like turrets and stuff. All the sub-targeting.
Subsystems.
Yeah. It's a new MFD, or there's a whole bunch of stuff in the MFD you can cycle through. On some ships it's default, and some ships you have to cycle into the scanning menu.
Yeah.
I think a lot of ships can now scan rocks and see the materials. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
They're still working on it, and it's going to get an overhaul even more when it comes to, because things like the Scout and the Terrapin and the Tracker all have their values defined by that. So.
And then we have
MSR, right?
Scanning on top of this.
All right. The last question. 6M.
Game over.
Oh, no, it's game over. Right? Yeah, it's game over. Game over asks a question. When do you think we'll get some news on the BMM?
When Jared decides to ask it for IAE show.
Yes. Come back in a year. We'll probably not have updates then, but they'll at least tell us what's going on with it at some point. Maybe the Alien Week. Within the next 6 to 12 months, we will have at least one sentence. It's being worked on, or it's being developed. One of the two.
Or it's
Rylan when.
Yeah. So that's the next time you'll hear. The question was specifically, when will we get some news on it? And that's the answer. If your question is actually, when will it come out? After 1.0. Whenever that is. So. All right. I do have to ask what the cat's name is.
Alice.
Alice, you have an orange one. So, does she also only have one brain cell to share amongst the other orange cats?
He occasionally rents the brain cell.
Yeah. So, and thank you for sharing the cat, who's obviously very much pay attention to me.
Yes.
Servant. I require attention. Thank you for joining us there, Apollonaut. Make sure you check out Solomata and his Twitch channel. And if you have any questions, Apollo does a lot of walkthroughs and other things like that. And if you want to talk with Zark and hang out with Zark and myself, you can always join the League of Relic Enthusiasts, which is my organization, where we search out for artifacts in the verse. and bring them back for categorization and to be displayed in a museum, which we will build eventually, for which you are all invited to go to. It'll be completely full of worthless artifacts because none of you actually none of them will actually have any value, but you'll be able to see a bunch of history of the verse. So, and if you enjoyed this, please do hit that follow button on Twitch, subscribe button on YouTube, and make sure you hit that like button, because it really does promote the video more often, because otherwise YouTube doesn't know if someone enjoys it, even if you did enjoy it. Comment down below your own questions or comments on anything we do. I do try to read every comment, even the negative ones. So please do try to keep it civil. Name calling doesn't really help, really. If you're mad about something, find another channel. I don't know. Like, there's so many people who come. I've had a couple people come on and be like, "You guys are just shills. I'm done with this shit." It's like, okay, why are you here in the first place? But please do.
Hate is more engaging.
Please comment down below why you hate me. And like the video. That's what I'll say. If you did enjoy this a lot, please do join us live at twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/theastropubLive, which goes live on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, I think 9 p.m. GMT. We'd love to have you come in and join us. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.